What infamous mistress told the authorities she was not interested in a serious relationship, yet spent hours Googling wedding dresses? I'll give you one guess. Hi, we're a True Crime and Wine couple, and welcome to our Sunday edition, where we will be reacting to the first interview with Nichole Kessinger.
Now, please keep in mind, I did do my best to clean this audio up as best I could. It was done in a park outside. The recording is not that great. It was recorded, it was an FBI interview. You would think the FBI would have better recording devices, but apparently not. So it is really kind of tough to listen to. It was a very long interview. It was well over an hour, and we just sort of took out the most interesting clips of the interview to react to. So that's what we'll be doing here moving forward. Did you have anything to add before we get into it?
It was it was very difficult for us to obtain, and to clean up the audio. And I cannot, if there is a written transcript out there, I can't find it. If you have one and you would share it with us, I'd really appreciate it. So this is all us just using the audio. Which
again is not easy to get through, but hopefully I picked out the ones that are easiest to listen to and the most interesting parts of the interview. Like I said, it is well over an hour. Where the clips are not even close to that, but I tried to pick out the most interesting ones. So what we'll do is we're just going to play the clip, and then we'll just react to the clip, and then we'll play the next clip, and we'll just go through like that. We do have 13 clips we want to go through, and that's from start to finish out of the interview.
So grab your favorite Sunday sipping wine and come on back and join us while we listen to some sex, lies, and videotape of Nichole Kessinger.
Well, no videotape on this one.
Audio tape.
Audio
Sex,
tape.
Lies, and Audio Tape. That's a good title.
Yeah. Oh, that is good. All right. So without further ado, here is the first clip, and then we'll react to it as soon as it's over.
I met Chris at work. He's not like one of my direct coworkers. He just works kind of in passing in the same office building as me. I met him, I don't know, sometime probably around the beginning of June, maybe before that. And we kind of talked in passing and then started to get to know each other, and we started hanging out pretty frequently around, I want to say the last week of June, somewhere around there. And have continued to talk until then.
Okay.
He informed me that he did have 2 kids. I knew that he had 2 daughters. He also told me that he was currently in the process of a separation from his wife. And so, are there mosquitoes on me? That he was in the process of a separation from his wife. And
well, doesn't that sound so casual and innocent? We just chatted in passing, officer. So what do you think about that?
Well, there's all those rumors, and that's what's so interesting about this case is there's nothing that's really concrete that we can find. Mm-hmm. It's all sort of rumors and innuendos, but there's so much out there saying that she actually was aware of Chris Watts long before she even started working at that place, going all the way back to August or September, where they either met at the gym or there may have been a party that they were both at.
She could have checked him out on LinkedIn knowing that she was going to go work for Anadarko. She could have checked out who, the male talent was at Anadarko.
Right.
And sadly, with this case, the only people who we can get the information from are lying liars who lie. Yeah. That would be Nichole Kessinger and Chris Watts.
And Chris Watts, exactly. Because I mean, there's stuff out there that he says, and
and the only other people involved sadly are gone. So we don't know. I don't believe, and if she did meet him at that time, I don't believe it was as casual as she says.
No, I don't think so either. And he even said that he felt like he was being pursued by her. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I don't know that we have any evidence to the contrary, so we may have to take their words for it, but there is stuff out there suggesting otherwise.
And
So,
it definitely wasn't anywhere near as casual.
no.
Because he said she took his breath away. And she wanted him. She was salivating for him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And once again, we have to state this is our opinion.
Right.
Based on, what we have researched, listened to, seen. So, yeah.
And she also said that he said he was separated. Well, this was the time when she was in North Carolina, right? So
it wasn't until July.
Oh, she didn't leave until
She
July.
didn't leave until July.
Oh, okay. Maybe he knew she was going?
Very, very late June, early July.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe he knew, hey, this chick at work's flirting with me. My wife's going away.
We're separated now.
Right, let's have a little fun.
Yeah.
And there are many who say that her going was a trial separation.
Right.
Once again, that's all speculation.
Exactly.
Another thing I pointed out is Nichole is a science girl, okay? If you know science people or you work with science people, they investigate the crap out of everything. They do their research. So it's not like she didn't just see him at work and not look into his hole.
Yeah.
I mean, the chemistry teacher I work with, she can make a whole family tree of who in school is related to who. Like, they know their stuff. They have a different mind. The science people have a different mind than the rest of the non-science people, in my opinion. That's just my own experience. So that's what we think about that clip.
All right, so we'll move on to the next one.
Okay. And then did the relationship develop beyond friendship?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then did he say anything to you about where he thought the relationship was going to be going, or what he was hoping for the future?
I think that he was looking for a relationship with me, but I knew that he was in the process of a separation. So for me, I was kind of having a hard time with that, where it's like, because he told me, oh, we're putting the house up for sale, and I told him, I'm not comfortable with considering you my significant other and vice versa while you are still like in the midst of a divorce. Like, I was like, once you and her are finalized with the divorce, I'm like, once you and your kids have your new location that you wanted to move to set up, once all of that is where it needs to be, I'm like, then you and me can talk about, eventually, like, dating seriously and like building something with each other. But I mean, that was kind of my standstill on that, and I feel guilty that I should have like waited to, I guess, like initiate anything that we had together until.
Now in this clip, NK appears to grow some morals.
Yes.
Because now all of a sudden, after this whole thing has gone down, and they've, she's sent all these spicy pictures, and she's Googled how to prepare for certain sexual activities that I assume she hadn't done before, but it's casual as could be, and she had all this guilt, and she didn't consider him her significant other. Well, that's interesting, because she went and Googled wedding dresses, and man I'm seeing says he'll leave his wife.
Yeah. She puts on a good front, but there's nothing behind it.
It's one of those, I have no words, but I have to comment for the video. It just makes no sense. And now why backtrack? They're good. They know your involvement. This is the FBI. Well, this interview actually is with the FBI.
This
isn't
FBI.
local.
Right.
They know what's up. They're all over this case. Now's not the time to backtrack, honey, especially being a smart woman with a couple degrees. You should know they know.
And if they don't know, they will know.
Exactly. Yeah. Now's not the time to...
Yeah, the FBI knows everything, or will know everything. That's just the way they are. They'll dig and dig and dig until they get it.
But yeah, well, I'm glad you feel uncomfortable with it now that, his wife and kids are missing, because at this point they're just missing. We don't know what happened. Now she feels guilt. Now she feels discomfort.
Yeah, so just a little context. This interview is right after they went missing, and it's
On the 15th.
right after his plea to the public for their safe return, and it's before he confessed. So it's like right in that in-between period.
And this is her very first interview.
This
That's
is
why
the
we
very
started with
first
this one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, now's not the time, MK. You know, now she's got a chance to make this right and say the truth.
Right.
And instead, she's just living in denial. And I mean, in self-preservation, I think any of us would initially do this or initially think to do this, and hopefully then we would turn around and do the right thing.
But then you also have to think about what is going through her head, because she knows what her involvement was.
True.
Nobody else does. So was she more involved, or was she just an innocent bystander? And I don't know that we'll ever know the answer to that question.
We'll never know. Because the person who will tell us is not talking. Well, the people who would tell us are not talking.
Right.
She's in hiding somewhere, or she's not, and we just don't know where she is. And he's never giving up his cushy life at Dodge Correctional. I mean, and his cushy, I mean, I know prison isn't cushy, but that's as cushy as it's going to get for Chris Watts.
Right.
He's in the best situation he's going to be in with the knowledge that he at least killed Shanann.
Yeah.
So, you know, take that for what it's worth.
Right.
But. And Nichole, I noticed, says like almost as much as I say, you know. And the more I watch my videos, I realize that I have to stop saying, you know.
And,
I'm
the big
If any of you have any suggestions
I'm
for us
you're
to
an
stop
know,
doing, yeah,
she's a like.
to stop with that, yeah. Oh, and Chris Watts, like. It must be, maybe it's a Colorado thing. I say like a lot too, but nothing like Chris Watts and Nichole Kessinger. So that's my take on that.
All right. So here's the next one.
Did you talk about anything about his relationship with his wife? Did that come up? Nothing? Nope.
I mean, I've been helping him trying to like find a new spot, so I'm sure we talked about like, hey, because I know we were trying to set up a time this week to go like have him. He was looking for a 2-bedroom apartment. He wanted to get an apartment that was for him and his girls, and so sometimes, I mean, we talk about that recently because he's just like, I gotta find a place. And we were supposed to go look at some stuff this week. We were trying to get it set up before all this happened. So, I mean, like a little bit of stuff, but it's never like directly him and his wife. It's typically like, this is what's going on. And I was just like, well, I will give you a helping hand if you're trying to find a spot. Like, I'll look at apartments for you guys, and like I would tell them, oh, I found an apartment that's like got a pool for your kiddos, and it's got a park for your kiddos, and it's close to work and close to the gym, and you know, and trying to make sure that he got a place that was close to where his ex-wife would be staying, so that they were all, you know, essentially located to each other, and just really trying to help him to get set up so that he could have a good working relationship with her, with the kids, and then he could be in a location that was like safe and centrally located and good for the kids themselves when he had them. And so that, I mean, just trying to like help him to like transition and then be a good dad and make sure that he was there and do what he needed to do.
All right, well, there we have it. Nichole Kessinger, best girlfriend in the world. Helping him find an apartment, get the kiddos all set up. It just sounds so fake. I don't know. You just can't listen to it and just not think that she's just trying to make herself look as good as possible in a really bad situation.
The thing that strikes me about this one is I don't know who's in denial here about Nico's impending birth, but she mentions the 2-bedroom apartment for him and the girls, his kiddos, his girls. Did he, like, she had to have known Shanann was pregnant. I really think she stalked this family on social media.
Yes.
So, was she in denial about Nico's impending birth? Was he in denial? I mean, where was Nico gonna be? I mean, was the baby gonna be in the bedroom with him?
Well, later on, there is a clip where she claims she didn't know anything about it. So,
right, yeah, but still.
So that's sort of going on that theme.
Right.
I don't know. And sadly, we're never going to know. All we can do is just react to what we hear and what little we know and try to piece things together and give our gut reaction to it. But I'm sorry, she just sounds so fake.
And did he say anything about the future? Well, that's all she wanted was a future with
Yeah,
him.
Googling wedding dresses and
Yeah, so, she pursued him.
right.
I mean, I don't know, but all of a sudden, she's so concerned for the kids, I have...
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just really, it's hard to listen to knowing what you know.
And it sounds like she's going to help him facilitate this amicable split with Shanann. She's going to facilitate this whole thing. Now all of a sudden she's going to facilitate this amicable split and help him set up his own life separate,
That's what makes no sense to me about this whole, the whole thing. What he had moved on, obviously, with her. They seem to have something going. If you listen to her, everything's all roses and she's going to help him transition and get him all set up so he's being a good dad and he can be a good, ex-husband to his wife, and, let them all live amicably together and have this fairy tale relationship, but then all of a sudden he's killing everybody. It doesn't make any sense if that's exactly what there's something there that we don't know about.
She almost makes it sound like she's the family therapist.
Yeah.
Or the social worker that's going to come and help this family move on past this divorce that he says he's getting.
Yes. With lots of sex and threesomes and crazy stuff too. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
This is difficult to react to because I really have no words.
It really is. And this is what draws me to this. This whole Nichole Kessinger angle is what draws me to this case. There's just got to be more there. And sadly, I don't think we're going to know.
And when you really listen to the interviews, it drives it home.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. All right, so ready to move on?
Moving on.
All right, here's the next one.
And then after Saturday, when was the next time you heard from him?
Oh, I talk to him all the time. He hasn't texted me today because I asked him yesterday not to, but if I was to text him right now, I bet he'd respond in like 5 minutes. And he has no idea that I'm talking to you guys. Nobody does. My dad is the only person that's in on this loop. Like, no one I know knows that I spent time with him. I don't think anybody he knows that I spent time with him. Like, besides the 3 people at this table, it's just him. That knows.
Nobody, no coworkers, no friends?
None of them. Nobody.
Okay. Are you confident that he didn't say anything to anybody about your relationship?
I'm pretty positive he did not.
Okay.
This one is really interesting because I think to myself, I asked him not to text me because Shanann had been missing. And he didn't, okay, so we'll start with that. She did not ask him not to text her. She was probably freaking out about what was going on. Correct?
This is what I don't know, because deep down inside of me, I think she knew what was going on. She knew what happened, and somehow she was behind it.
Let's play devil's advocate and say she didn't.
Okay, if she didn't.
Let's say she's totally innocent in this whole thing. Other than she knows she had the affair. And she knows she is having sex with someone whose wife and children are now missing. Wouldn't you be freaking out and need to know what the heck's going on? Just for the sake of covering your own butt?
Well, not only that, but if you didn't know what was going on, if you truly didn't know and you just take her at her word and she knew what she knew, why say don't text me? Are you okay? What can I do for you? How can I help you? Wouldn't that be what somebody in a relationship would do?
Good point. It's almost like she realizes he's guilty.
He's caught, now I gotta separate myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it just, I don't know.
And no going to the authorities yet, right? Because this is now Well, now she just went to the authorities, but
Right,
that would have
and-
been the 14th. So the wife, so Shanann goes missing on the 13th, which is Monday. So she's talking about Tuesday, and now she's meeting with them on the 15th, which is the Wednesday. And the Tuesday, so she tells him, don't contact me until you find your wife and kids, but yet doesn't go to authorities also.
Yeah, and I think she went to the authorities just to sort of get herself ahead of the game.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
she says that nobody knew about the relationship. She didn't tell
Definitely.
anybody. He didn't tell anybody. Co-workers didn't know. Nobody knew. It was a big secret.
It was a get them before they get me.
Yeah,
That's totally what it was.
That's exactly why she went. Yeah, I think her father had her do that. Like, we need to get there. We need to get out in front of this.
Yeah.
So I can manage it.
And we should also mention that her daddy's there,
Yeah.
and she's a 30-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And, like I said, law enforcement I said this before in another video, law enforcement interviewed McKenna Lindstrom, who was only 16 at the time, without her parents there.
Right.
But 30-year-old little Nikki needs daddy. And I do believe this might be the one truth she did tell, that he didn't talk to his coworkers about their relationship, and I do believe that. Because if you listen to all the interviews, and all these things are online, so if you're interested in this case, you can listen to all the interviews with all the players, you can listen to the 1,900-page discovery if you would like to, you can read the 1,900-page discovery if you'd like to. But when they did interview everybody, I don't think anybody knew. They knew about her, and some of the guys at work had some stuff to say about her that you would expect guys at work to say about somebody that you would think would be like her. Not that I'm judging, but I have hours and hours of interviews to make my judgment about her. And I really don't think they knew. So I do think that was a truthful.
That they were just trying to
Yeah,
keep it on the down low.
She was his dirty little secret for sure. Emphasis on the dirty little. Okay, so anyway.
All right, so that's our feelings on that one. And so we'll play the next one for you.
As far as texts and phone calls since Saturday, has anything been odd to you? Anything that he said or written that strikes you as being strange or not truthful? Or?
No. Well, so I talked to him on Sunday night, and he was fine on Sunday night. I didn't have any issues with him. And then Monday, I think we shot each other like a couple texts at work, but him and I get real busy, both of us do at work. So it was just kind of like, and it was like just a mundane bullshit conversation, you know. And then Monday afternoon, I came home from work, and I had a friend over at my house who is not involved or knows anything about this at all. But like, I went to meet up with a friend, and then he texted me and told me something along the lines of like, my wife and my kids aren't home.
So the reason I clipped this one out was I just found it odd that she had to mention, one, that she had a male friend over and he wasn't involved. Well, nobody asked if he was involved. Why? It just, I don't know. It just was weird the way she sort of volunteered that information and just wanted to get it out there. And it's like, oh, and he's not involved. Okay. So, good
This
for you.
later becomes the "Leave Jim Alone" famous clip that Peter doesn't know about yet.
I did not know about that.
Anybody in the Watts on the Watts Island, as they used to call it, or in the Watts community online, knows about "Leave Jim Alone." Yeah, we'll get to that later.
Right.
We'll talk about that at another time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was why I clipped this one. That just sort of struck me as being weird.
If he's not involved, and why'd you have to say he's a male?
Yeah.
Number one. And if he's not involved, why mention it? Why
Right,
not?
exactly. Yeah,
Unless she was maybe trying to set up her alibi.
maybe.
So,
A
you
little
know.
late for that though. Well, no, maybe she could say I was doing this dude.
And not to mention, like, well, she does specifically say in later interviews, which obviously we're not discussing here, but it kind of alludes to this discussion, that he was just a friend. So he was an old friend. He was older than her. He was an older dude.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's older than her. Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, his name was Jim.
His name was Jim. Don't mess around with Jim.
Don't mess around with Jim. Don't tug on Superman's cape.
That's right.
The listeners our age will get that,
Yes.
but the younger listeners will not get that reference. So there will be more to come about Leave Jim Alone and
Leave
Jim.
Alone. Yes. All right, so we'll get right into the next one.
When he told you that he was in love with you, was that recent? Was that right away? You know, was that like in July or?
It was probably like a couple weeks ago.
Okay. And did he talk about anything on top of it, saying I'm in love with you now and that I want to have a life together and I don't want to be my wife? Like that?
I mean, yeah, we talk about the future. I think all couples do talk about the future, but it was never like, hey, I'm like leaving her, we're gonna get a house together, you're moving in with me. It was never like this like very forward thing. And and I even told him, I was like, if we're gonna build a relationship, one thing is that if you're getting a divorce, you've been married for a long time, I think it would be wise for you to spend a lot of time on your own. I was like, and I recently got out of a relationship earlier this year, and I think it's also healthy for me to spend time on my own. And I told him, I was like, I respect like monogamy. I don't know if this whole situation, but at the end of the day, it's like you need space. And I would tell him that it's like, once you guys, all your paperwork's finalized and you guys have decided to separate and you're in your own spot with your kids, I was like, I think the days that you're with your kids, you need to be with them like full time. I'm not ready to meet your children. He didn't even ask me to meet his children. I mean, not yet, but I told him, I was like, in the future, eventually, if we get to that point where we think we're ready, yes, but I'm not ready to meet your kids. They're not ready to meet me. You're not ready to have me meet them. And I would just tell him, I think we should take our time. Like, ideally, I would only like to hang out with you like 2 weeks.
So this one is really interesting because this is where Nichole Kessinger respects monogamy. After the fact, of course.
Yes,
a few months after the fact. Yeah, so she says she respects monogamy. And she also says, she tells Chris Watts to, if he's getting a divorce, to spend time on his own. So that, he can grow as a person and come back to be with her in a relationship over this. Come on, spend time on his own. Okay, yeah, so she also told him when he was going to North Carolina, be with his wife, be with his kids. We'll get into that later. But yeah, if you respected monogamy, you were stalking this family on social media. You knew the deal. If you respected monogamy, you would have stayed the heck out of it,
right,
in my opinion. And then,
And he said multiple times that he felt pursued. So it's not like he was pursuing her. She was after him, and she knew the deal.
Well, he said a lot more than felt pursued. If you listen to his last prison interview that he did, she had a dark magic hold on him, and he quotes the Bible and Jezebel and all that. So that's pretty sus, as the young kids would say. That's sus.
And then not ready to meet the children or the kiddos, and they're not ready to meet her. Well, there's pretty damning evidence out there that she did meet them at one point. Actually,
the girl's hair.
Did their hair. So,
well, if you look at the videos of when Chris Watts did the hair, it was like 2 little horns sticking out of their head, like 2 little horn ponytails.
Like a dude did it.
Like a guy did it, right. And then when they went to that party, even their mother saw a picture of them at the party at the Lindstrom's house the day before Shanann was murdered and the girls were murdered, and everybody complimented their hair and how nice it was. So all of a sudden, like, Chris Watts took some, hairdressing lessons.
Yeah.
Come on. And I mean, Shanann wasn't there, so
right.
That the only person who could have done their hair, and now Shanann's mother was a hairstylist, but she wasn't there.
Right.
And Nicole Atkinson, who was the neighbor, she was a hairstylist, but she wasn't there. So come on, who did the girl's hair?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Chris Watts learned how to do something besides a little horn ponytail sticking out of their head? I don't think so.
Exactly. All right, so we'll get
More
on to the
lies.
next. Yep, more lies. All right, here's the next one.
Never met his children. Did you ever meet his wife?
Nope.
Were you ever at his house?
Once.
Once. Okay. When was that?
I went to the board. But it was probably the second weekend in July.
Second weekend. Okay. So it was just that one time?
Just once. I had no desire to go over there. I mean, that's like a situation where he's living with somebody that he's separating from. Like, it's not my life. Like, that's their life, you know? And I started telling him, like, the time you spend with me, spend it in my house because this is our space, and that's not my space. And for me, I think it's really disrespectful to go over there. And so we stopped by there once, like on the way to my house, and I was there for maybe like 15 minutes, and I saw a picture of her holding her kid, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. And I remember thinking, like, gosh, your little girls are beautiful too. And we laughed, and I remember telling him after that, it was like, have you ever thought about like really trying to fix your marriage with her? And he's like, I don't really want to. And I was just like, man, like, you got a beautiful wife, like she's the mother of 2 of your kids, and I'm just like, you already have all of this stuff. Like, you already have the house and the car and the kids and the marriage and the wife. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want to fix that? I'm like, because what if you like try to start over with somebody else, and like, what if hypothetically like we didn't work out, or you know what I'm saying, or like just any of that, where it's like, you should at least give her the benefit of the doubt.
So this is interesting because this one is when she says that she didn't want to go to their home. She was there once. Come on.
Because it was disrespectful and...
Yeah, it was disrespectful to be in their house. Then if it was so disrespectful, why did you even go once? Now she does admit to the time when she went to help him set up MyFitnessPal and what he was going to eat, and he made them grilled chicken and carrots. Because Shanann had left him meal after meal after meal when she was gone.
Right.
You know, so but that was the one main time she claimed she was there. Oh, and the dog Dieter led her up the steps. Yeah, because the dog was like, hey, come on, Nichole.
Yeah.
Come up the steps with me. Go check out. No, she wanted to check out what they had. She wanted to see the pictures. She wanted to see their possessions. So she sees all this stuff and she's like, wow, you've got a beautiful life here.
Beautiful life, beautiful wife.
Go work this out with your wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so who says go work this out with your wife and then sends, I believe, hundreds of nudes, if not more, and all these, spicy text messages? It was basically like, hey, work it out with her, but look what you got at home. Like, look at all these sexy pictures of me.
Yeah.
Look at these yoga poses I could do. I'm so bendy. I'll be so good, I mean, come on. Once again, this is all our speculation
Yes.
and opinion.
Yeah, that's really all you can do with this one.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No,
I think I'm so bendy through you off. That was
a little
the end of
bit.
that conversation. Okay, so there you go.
All right, get on to the next one here.
What about social media?
I don't have it.
You don't have any social media?
I have nothing.
So there was no interaction like Facebook Messenger?
Nope. I don't have Facebook. I have nothing. I literally nothing. I have an email that I use for like general purposes, but we never even emailed. I don't have any social media. I haven't for a long time. I recently deleted my LinkedIn, but that was like, yeah, and I've had Facebook since like 2016. I've never ever.
So what do you think of this? She had nothing.
I have. She sounds like Sergeant Schultz.
I
know
have nothing. What do you think of that one?
I think it's a bunch of crap. Now, she may have deleted all this stuff before she met with the F.B.I. That might be true, but don't tell me she didn't have any of this stuff prior to the relationship and during the relationship.
Here's my take on this. She had this yoga business that she did on the side. How could you have a yoga business and not have some kind of social media?
You can't.
Whether
Not in this day and age.
even if it was just Instagram and she took pictures of herself in the yoga poses,
Right.
she had to have some kind of social media. Then she says she just deleted her LinkedIn.
Right.
This woman is a contracted worker. She doesn't have a set job. You're going to delete your LinkedIn?
No.
I mean, I don't know how long she was contracted with Anadarko. She said it was her dream job and all that. You're not all of a sudden going to get rid of your LinkedIn.
No.
Unless, let's say you really do land your dream job that's permanent. Then I think maybe you'd say, okay, forget your LinkedIn. But what?
There's nothing permanent nowadays, so.
Exactly.
And especially this generation, they look to move. That like it's them
True.
moving is the moving up. You know,
True.
that's the way they get their promotions. That's where they get their raises. They move. So I don't believe that even for a second. And also, I think she used social media to stalk Shanann. I think she knew everything about her through Facebook and all, you know, because Shanann was all over the place.
Now, she could have had a fake account. She could have had an incognito account that was easy to lie about. This woman had social media. She had something. Come on.
Yeah.
If it was only, like I said, to show her yoga pictures
Right.
for her yoga business.
So,
There's that.
yeah, there is that. All right, so moving on. Here's the next one.
No. But one thing I did want to let you guys know is that I was looking at the news Tuesday. Yesterday for lunch. And I found out that she is 15 weeks pregnant. I did not know that. I was pretty taken back by that. I just felt kind of like disappointed with him and not with the situation. I mean, if she's pregnant, that's a beautiful thing. But that is information that he definitely withheld from me. So I had to find that out through the media. And I asked him about it yesterday. And he kept telling me, he's like, it's not mine, it's not mine. And he just kept telling me it wasn't his. And he's like, you mad? I was like, no, I'm not mad at all. I just am like really surprised. And I was just like, please tell me the truth. Like, don't lie to me. Please don't lie to me. Like, this whole relationship, in a sense, if you think about it, is kind of like, it needs to be as honest as possible. So, yeah, I asked him to tell me the truth, and he kept denying it a few times, and I was just like, Chris, like, I know this child is yours, and I'm like, well, because he kept saying, he was just like, I don't want to ruin anything we have, this and this, and I'm like, Chris, like, you need to not worry about me right now. Like, what you need to worry about is your family. I'm like, all 4 of them, and I kept saying that, like, all 4 of them, and I'm just like, I know that's your child. I'm like, and that's okay. I'm like, you need to put all of your energy right now into focusing on finding them and not anywhere else, you know. And then he finally came clean, and he was like, yeah, it's mine.
So this is really interesting because this is where Nichole Kessinger claims that she did not know that Shanann was pregnant. So this goes back to the whole social media thing.
Not only that, but also, I guarantee you in that house, there was stuff up about the baby.
Right.
Like when she went to the house, I
Right.
guarantee you that there had to be something.
Probably working on a nursery, baby things.
Yeah, and the way Shanann like put everything everywhere, there was maybe like, you know, the pictures of the baby or
For
stuff,
sure.
you know.
For sure.
So I don't believe that for a second that she found out on the news when he was doing his.
Then I find it very interesting that she says, I was disappointed with him, but not the situation. Now, why would you need to say that you weren't disappointed with the situation? I mean,
Well, because being pregnant's a beautiful thing.
no, but what I'm thinking is she knows that there's a murder here, and she has to backtrack and say she was okay with the pregnancy. She was just disappointed in the fact that he was still having sex with his wife 15 weeks before that. You know what I'm saying? That to me means she knew that something went down, and she had to say she was disappointed with the fact that he was having sex with his wife, but she wasn't disappointed with the fact that there was a baby on the way, because that then could possibly negate the fact that she was
Or was she
responsible.
just disappointed that he was lying to her and didn't tell her?
That's true. And also, you know, there's a lot of speculation that Nico was not Chris Watts' child. I don't believe that for a minute. I know some people on social media believe that, and once that again is my opinion. I do know that the Watts family was never given the results of Nicole's paternity test. But then again,
Which is odd, I think.
I think that's odd too, but by the same token, why would you have to prove it? He was the one messing around. Now, some people claim Shanann was messing around with a coworker.
Because
You
it
can
goes
go
back-
on social media and see that. I'm not going to get into that.
But that goes into motive, though. That would go back to
Absolutely.
motive. If she was pregnant by another man, then that could be motive for the murder.
Right.
You know, so why that would not? And this is just another case of why not investigate all the way through. Don't just stop when I did it. Okay, good enough. We're done here. And that's pretty much what happened. As soon
Right.
as he confessed, everything was done. They just stopped.
Yeah, and I just don't believe on any planet in any universe she did not know.
No, I don't think so either.
Because, like you said, Shanann put everything out there.
Mm-hmm.
For a good reason. I mean, that's the MLM way.
That's the way.
You're selling
you have
a
to.
lifestyle. You're not selling products. You're selling, this is how wonderful my life is because I use this product. So take that for what it's worth.
Yep. All right, moving on. Here's the next one.
Did he tell you what she does for a living? How she earns money?
Kind of, sort of. I know she like works for some company that does like a lot of online stuff, and it's like fitness stuff or vitamin stuff. Or I don't completely know exactly what that is, but I know she has to like network with a lot of people on social media to do it. So I'm not 100% sure what you would call that, which I guess she's like a sales rep, kind of, sort of, would be what it is called. But that's what she does for a living.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so this clip, I don't buy this for a second that she had no idea what Shanann did for a living, that she had no idea about the vitamin stuff or the fitness stuff, whatever it is she did, and she had to contact a lot of people and be out. No, she knew, especially with Chris, the way he used the stuff. He was all about it. He was constantly using it. I can almost get
Patch here, patch there,
patches all over the
patch
place.
here.
And the way she was into fitness, she probably used it too, or at least tried it. So you can't tell me that she didn't know all about Thrive and that that's what Shanann did. And I'm just not buying. I'm not buying that even for a
She does
second.
talk about the supplements in later interviews.
Yeah, she's and yeah. This is just, this one I can almost guarantee is a flat out lie.
I think she would.
The rest of the ones I don't know. This one is a lie.
As
This is no
someone,
lie.
like you said, who was into fitness and stuff
Yeah.
like that, she would have at least looked up the supplements.
And asked him, what is that on your arm? Why are you wearing a patch? Oh, it's just a fitness thing, or it's a vitamin stuff. No.
And that goes
And
back
like
to
you,
the
it
whole
goes back to
science
I was
thing.
going to say, it goes back to the scientist thing.
You
She's
want to
gonna
know what's in there, right?
Yes. So, no, I'm not buying, I don't buy that one for even, this one is probably the biggest one to me that jumps out. It's just not true.
And I have to say, she knew a lot about how it worked for somebody who knew nothing about it.
Yes, she did. She really did know exactly how the whole Thrive MLM thing worked without knowing anything about it.
With that being said, I think that's where we can leave that.
Yes, definitely. All right, so moving on to the next one.
Asked him yesterday to kind of like give me some space because I'm getting to the point with this situation where I am very concerned for his wife and children, and this whole situation is very uneasy for me as it is, I'm sure, for everybody else who's involved with this situation. And after like finding out like, oh yeah, and like I've also got this child on the way with her and just wasn't very honest with me, I told him, please give me time to heal and please give me time to process this. And he's like, are we done? And I told him, I said, no, we're not. Yes, we are, but he doesn't need to know that. I just told him that because I was just like trying to find a way to like distance myself from him without alerting him that I'm really uncomfortable with everything that's going on right now.
This one was interesting to me. The fact that she, and again it goes back to the an earlier clip where she's asking him for space. Why? If you are in this relationship, you automatically go to something nefarious? Probably not. You're just more concerned about him and how he's doing, but no, give me my space. You know, I need to process all of this.
Well, this is the
But
person
yeah, I'm
here.
really concerned about your wife and children. He asked her, "Are we done? Are we? No, we're not." And then it's like, "Oh, yes, we are." But he just doesn't know that. I just wanted to give him space. So why are you done all of a sudden? If she just picked, if we're going on her theory that she just picked up and left, and she's going away for a couple days, why does that change everything about their relationship? Why all of a sudden is that like, now we're done? It just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it just doesn't.
And if you're concerned for his wife and children, why are you going to distance yourself? You should be more up his butt to
Yeah.
figure out what happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you think that this man is in love with you and you have the inside track with him, why the hell aren't you trying to find this out?
Right.
Why are you saying give me some space? Right?
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. But none of this really made any sense.
None of this crime makes any sense. Nothing makes sense here.
Nope. Anything else to say on that one?
I think we said it all.
All right, moving on.
And he didn't indicate to you that she was going to leave? Did he ever say to you, like, one day she's going to be leaving, she's going to be going somewhere? Or...
He told me they had a conversation in the morning, and he told me that she came home like really late, I think, that night. And he told me that when he woke up, he said he was sleeping, and then she got back. And when he woke up, there was a text message from her that said I don't know if it was a text, I don't know. But she just said she asked him to wake her up before he went to work. And I guess he went to wake her up, and she informed him that the child that she was carrying did not belong to him. And I asked him if he believed that, and he said, no, I think she's just saying that out of spite. So I don't know if he's telling me that because he's trying to like somehow make me feel better that maybe it's not his kid because he lied to me, or if that like legitimately happened. I don't know.
All right, so this one was interesting because she seems to know a lot about the timeline of, she got home late, blah, blah, blah. But so she claims that Chris said she got home late, asked her to wake her up. When he woke her up, first thing she says to him is, oh, by the way, the baby's not yours. Mm-hmm. Just out of the blue, we're just going to come out with, and not sure she's doing it out of spite. Spite for what? Spite that she knows about her or him and Nichole? Is that what she's implying? Where's the spite coming from? That's what I don't understand out of that.
What I'm confused with this one is I don't know who's pushing the narrative. Is Chris Watts pushing the narrative that Nico's not his? Or is NK pushing the narrative that Nico's not his?
Or was Shanann really pushing it?
I don't believe that. Shanann said that for a minute.
But that's
nowhere.
possible. That's
it's nowhere in the discovery. It's nowhere in any interviews with Chris Watts. Now I do know that Chris Watts' family did not get Nico's DNA test results. The Ruseks got the results. The Watts family did not. But by the same token, I don't believe for a minute it wasn't Chris's son. I believe that Chris was the one having the affair, not Shanann. Now there are some out there that believe that the baby belonged to one of Shanann's fellow thrivers in the MLM, and I'm not going to get into that, but you can see that on, if you're in any of the Facebook groups or any of the online groups, a lot of people don't believe that the baby was Chris's.
So the paternity test was actually done.
There was
results.
There was a DNA test done
There were results,
posthumously.
and her parents have those results.
Her parents have it, according to the information out there.
But wouldn't that be part of the public record as part of the autopsy, or no?
Well, remember when he confessed, everybody's records were sealed until his death. So the minute that's another strange thing about this. The minute he confessed and all this, that was part of the confession. So everything is sealed, past up until his death. So we're not going to know about Shanann's records or the kids or the babies. or Nico's.
Right.
So that's another weird thing there.
Yeah. It's just that. I would think that would all be part of it, but.
But by all accounts, the Ruseks did get their DNA results, and that was, part of the investigation.
Right.
Because had that been somebody else's child, they would have to
Again,
then.
it goes back to motive.
Right. Well, yeah, and they'd also have to notify if that child belonged to somebody else and the child was killed in the commission of the murder. You'd have to.
And you'd also want to interview that person and see if they were involved.
Right. Exactly. Right. So that's why I believe it was Chris's,
Yeah.
and I don't believe there was any more.
That makes more sense than anything else that it was his.
Yeah, I totally believe it was.
Yeah.
Just because nothing in her text messages or anything indicated that she was.
No.
In fact, Shanann was trying to, if you follow the discovery in the text messages, from what that information, obviously I wasn't there, I don't know, but she was trying to fix things
Yeah.
with him. She bought a crelationship book and bought him a copy and called Hold Me Tight and wanted him to read it and things like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't believe for a second.
No, I don't either.
But many do.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to the last clip.
Actually, I did want to ask what you call the phoning. So the text messages between you and him, you deleted those?
Yeah, that was yesterday. Like, as soon as I found out, and he was honest with me, like, we talked a couple more times after that, and then it was just like, I don't want you to contact me, and I just wiped them out.
If that's something that became necessary for us to try to retrieve, is that something that would be okay with you?
I'm sure we could work on my phone records, but I use that phone for work, so I'd appreciate it if I could, like, keep this. Is there another way for you guys to go about doing that, like, through the phone company or something?
So there's special software we can plug your phone into, and even if it's deleted, we can still retrieve the content, rather. And then just preserve that and give the phone back. That's the course of action we decide.
So you're not gonna like take it from me though, right? Because I just need it for work.
Yeah, no, we don't need to like take your phone and then you don't get it back. I mean, there is a process about getting the information from the phone, but we have people who do that.
Understood.
And it wouldn't be a big intrusion, but it just, and you think about this too, right? Because if you think after this interview done, you think, hey, you know what, that text message that he wrote, that was a little strange. Then maybe we would want to retrieve that. But for now, I don't know that it's necessary, but if it becomes necessary, we may come back to you and say, hey, can you just take a look at your phone and we'd like to retrieve those text messages. And again, it may not even be the content, it may just be the time and location.
Right.
So.
Well, and I mean, as long as you guys will give it back, I mean, that's my thing. I just need it for work. I don't even pay for it, and a dark purpose, so I can't really just like not have that would be a problem.
So this one is just the icing on the cake to all of them. I think this is the most ridiculous one of all. So this is where she tells them that she wiped out the text from Chris because he disgusted her.
Yeah, it's just what happened to, other than nothing happened and she's just trying to cover her ass.
Well, and if she says, don't contact me, you disgust me, I would think at that point you would assume then that he committed these crimes.
Right.
And you would want this information.
Right.
If you were not involved.
Exactly.
But I can also see it the other way. I can also see it as, oh my God, I'm having sex with this married man. He offed his whole family. Holy crap, I better get rid of this evidence. I can see it both ways. But I think at this point, she could have used her common sense if she had any.
And she was also really whiny about her phone.
Oh, and yeah, and then what freaking commission of what freaking crime does the FBI give you your phone back? So basically she says, I need to keep my work phone, I want to keep my work phone. So then they're basically telling her, oh, well, this is what we do to download the information, blah, blah, blah. No, they take your phone.
Yeah.
You hand over your phone.
This gets into the father bit.
I
Something's
know.
going on with the dad. He is connected somewhere, somehow. There's just no other.
There's a lot of theories about that. We'll do a video about that. That's too much to get into
That's a lot,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot to get into. But who the hell is investigated by the FBI and they keep their freaking phone?
No.
It'd be like, go get yourself a burner, honey.
Give me your phone, yeah.
Exactly.
We'll get it back to you when we get it back to you.
Or
If we
fine,
get it
but
back to you.
we'll don't they needed to do a forensic forensic analysis of that phone, not download a couple things.
Right.
If you listening or watching know a case where they gave somebody their phone back, let me know, because I cannot believe that for a minute.
No, me either.
The only other case I could see that happening in is the Delphi case.
It all comes back to Delphi.
But really, this is almost as botched
As
as
ridiculous. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It really is. And the only difference with this case is they had somebody confess.
Chris Watts confessed.
Yeah.
If Chris Watts didn't confess, can you imagine the cluster this would have been?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine.
Nope. So that was our take on this was Nichole Kessinger's first interview in the park. As you could tell, with the audio was horrible. The next ones that we'll be doing are more normal interviews in a controlled setting, so
Right.
everything will be
That
a little
were
bit
audio
clearer.
and videotaped.
Yeah, so
This was just
that'll
audio,
be
right?
a little bit easier to
And there are written
to follow
transcripts
along.
available for that, so we could even like read the
Yeah.
clip from the transcript,
Yeah, so
right?
a little bit easier. But I thought it was important to start at the beginning, even though this wasn't, as ideal a situation as we would have liked. We still did get and got her initial reactions, her initial feelings, her initial words, before.
As she was lying down her web of lies, she was
Exactly.
spinning her tail.
Yes.
And now the wine.
The wine, yes. The wine.
It's a repeat.
It's a repeat, but it's a very good repeat.
There's two of us. We can only drink so much.
Yeah. Unless you talk to my daughters and they think we're alcoholics. Crow Vineyard down in Maryland. Fantastic. They call it their Vinters blend, so it's just a dry white blend of their wine, but it's really good.
Is there some Chardonnay in here? I'm tasting some
A
Chardonnay.
little bit, I think so. Yeah.
I like the Chardonnay. Very good, very smooth, nice sipping wine. Also, if there's a certain type of wine you really like, leave us a comment. We probably have a bottle of it, and we can
I'm
drink
sure,
it in our
yeah.
next video.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we can
there's-
review a wine. Maybe if you're interested in a certain type of wine that you haven't tried,
Yeah.
leave us a comment. I mean, we're not a wine channel. Well,
No.
kind of, we are.
I know
but
we have wine in our name.
we have wine and crime. So, but if
Yes.
there's like a wine you're interested in, a type of wine that you want to know about, a type of wine that you want to learn about, leave us a comment, because, we have all the time in the world to make these videos.
Yes.
But we could definitely, try to give you a suggestion, or if you have any questions about wine. We know quite a bit. We've visited a lot of places,
Yes,
and
we
we've
have
drank
been
a
to a
lot
lot
of
of
white
wines.
wine, so
Yeah.
let us know. We are True Crime Wine Couple. We will catch you in the next video. We hope you enjoyed this. Please like if you do, and subscribe if you want to get more of our content. Hit the notification button. We're really trying to get more views, and our goal is 1,000 subscribers. So please help us reach our goal, because we're working hard.
We are. Till next time.